Action. Now then, Try2Smile, episode 6, I think. Something like that, maybe. You're in the building. You made the way all the way down from Birmingham. I do really appreciate you doing the travel. So thank you so much for coming down. I really wanted to talk to you guys about, I think I'd like to start off with talking about the EP that's come out. Because I came across you guys on Instagram and I was immediately like intrigued on your sort of style of music and just like the visuals of it all and everything else like that. So when I've been listening to stuff that was released before the EP, what sort of struck me was that all the songs are fairly like sort of minor, in like a minor or like a somber sort of, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the lyrics really reflect that. So talk me through how the EP sort of came about.
Yeah.
How many rewrites did it go through? Because that's one thing in it.
Yeah.
You're pulling a face already.
So, I'm guess you're on about the newest EP, Maybe I'm Better Alone one.
Absolutely.
That is actually the one that I would say probably least represents our work, actually.
Would you?
Yeah, it's a weird one because it's like that project was the only project I didn't work with the boys on. I went complete solo with that, didn't I?
Went completely rogue.
Went completely rogue and just had a mental health episode, and I thought
just disappeared off to Brighton for the weekend.
I was like, cheaper than therapy. I'll just make an EP.
Yeah.
And we wrote 26 songs in a day and a half.
No way.
We just wrote as many songs as possible.
Just pen was going.
And then just literally chose the 5 most depressing songs out there and put them on an EP.
Like next day, just get an email with all of these things to look at.
I was like, and literally there was no process to that though. It was literally just had feelings, wrote it down, and then said to the boys, like, normally you release something with like 6 months and you have to come up with a promo plan. This I said, it's out in 4 days, lads.
Really?
Yeah, no promo. And that's why it also flopped, I think, as well.
Oh. You think it's flops?
I think
compared to some on like the numbers side of things.
Yeah.
But as a personal thing, there's a lot of emotion on it. There is.
I think that's kind of part of it. You put your heart and soul out there as a creative,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
what you're left with, it's like people like it or they don't. They're either in the same headspace or not. You know?
Absolutely.
The new music is probably the most. It's the most me, I think. That we've gone.
Definitely.
Like I think the first songs that we put out 3-4 years ago, that would be like County Lines and Bloodstream and all that. They were pop but alt.
Yeah.
Even a bit of ska beat in there as well sometimes. And it's going back to that heavily. It's going back to the roots, just way better.
Yeah, it's just more entertaining, more fun, just more energy,
more confident,
more settled. I think another thing you can kind of tell from music as it sort of goes on, you can almost see maturity.
I was just going to say, do you feel like this sort of latest release is a lot more mature than what your previous releases were?
I don't
You're laughing,
I don't
maybe
know.
not.
I think you're bang on, actually. Like, I don't know if you've heard of all of the songs, but I won't go too much into them. But like, some of them are just, they're the funny side of Taboo, I think. Like, we were just writing some weird songs, man. I remember I was like
just
going
fun,
through,
right?
yeah, like I was just being a teenager and I was off my face and wrote a song about cuckolding. And I was like 18, so like I think that'd be the only reference to cuckold in the whole podcast. But like,
maybe we can bleep that out and just have like redacted.
Everything stays in. This is the real music industry.
None of this fake label crap. Yeah, like I think the new project is just the first time I've taken the songwriting seriously. I think as well. It's not just that I've gone I want to write a song like this, then wrote with someone. It's like we're taking our time with it massively. We've not put, especially for me and Dom as well, Draco, like we're ADHD.
Yeah,
so it's like just we want to do everything as quick as possible, but have it perfect at the same time.
And then move on to the next thing, and then all these other things have got to work with it.
It never works though, because it's like let's take our time with it. So the new one that we just dropped, I Want to See You Cry, by far my favourite one that we've released yet. I think it's just so good.
Yeah.
And like the ones that we're writing at the moment, it just shows because the people we're working with now are so far up that ladder. Like, give them credit, like Will and the People. Him tour with the Rolling Stones.
Really?
And then he's recording the album with us. It's just meant
cool, dude. Very cool.
We just sat there and it's just
definitely.
Yeah, literally.
Sure.
It was like, but this is the whole thing. It's back to our roots because he was there when it first started as well.
Oh, okay.
So he was the one that kind of got me into music, I think, seriously. You know what I mean?
I think Will is kind of a very special person to you personally.
Massively so. His younger brother was the one that gave us our first management deal.
Right.
And he's like works with massive song publishers now, like publishing music. And I think they definitely taught me the business side of it.
Yeah.
Because when you first met me, loose cannon.
Yeah, you can say that for sure. But I think that's all just like stage presence, right? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at stage presence. Maybe like later on in the podcast we can delve back into
Little
late night edition.
Yeah, I like it.
But so like just sort of touching back on the, because you sort of mentioned about you both got ADHD.
Yeah.
So when you're writing these songs, how when you're having like an ADHD episode, if you like, and forgive me if I'm using wrong terminology,
No, it's okay.
because it's a world that I'm not too familiar with.
Yeah.
So if you're having an episode and you're writing and you're writing, do you have that where you go, especially if you've written 28 songs in a day or whatever it is, you wake up the next day and you go, these songs are shit, man. Like how do you deal with that?
I'm a big perfectionist.
Yeah.
Right.
You won't stop until it's 28 perfect.
Yeah, I very much like to. I have to break it down because it's almost like Luke and I are two different sides of the coin.
Right.
Yeah,
It's like
the whole thing of I write the 28, next day I go, these are the best 28 I've written. And then I send them off to distributor. When I get a call from management, I get a call from Dom going, we're not releasing 28 songs all on Monday. And I'm like,
panicking.
oh yeah, and then we work through it and we go, actually there's one gem then, and like you said, the other 27 pile of dog shit.
Yeah, because I found, and I've heard a few people describe songwriting like this, is that it's a bit like a faulty tap. You first turn the tap on, and all the shit comes out, which is all the crap songs, and then eventually the water starts to run clean, and all the good songs start coming out. Do you find that applies? Or
I think to a certain extent, for me, it's got to be music is, especially being not the lyricist, like the melody, all the support, everything sort of in the background. It's got to come somewhere very emotional, very connected to who you are.
Yeah.
I think that's what my instrument always very much was for me. It was a way to express myself without words. I think ADHD, you fumble it a lot, and you get really excited, or you say the wrong thing. So having a way to bring these hooks into life, that's why it's, I think, very important for both of us to have these melodic hooks that are going to captivate someone to listen 150 times, because we're going to have to listen to it 150 times.
Yeah,
it
definitely.
is 100% the emotion. And that's where it's different now.
Having that connection as well is the important part.
Like when I first wrote the first songs, and why it came full 360, like I said before, was because when I first started writing songs, it was literally, I didn't know how to write songs. Will took me to the pub, bought me a few pints, and then I'd open, because if you just sit in a studio, it's so like, you just get writer's block, it's so stressful.
Yeah.
So we went out to the pub and he was just opening up, and I talked about my adoption, I talked about this, and he went, that's different, not everyone has this story. So it's how we wrote some of those tunes. And it's coming back around now. It's about like, and for so long, we both fell into the trap, and I'll happily admit, for so long we have just looked and seen how can we get there fast. It's like, like,
what's the best way?
What music do we need to be making? Who do we need to copy? And like, we had for so long, I'm crediting them because they are great artists. We were compared to Machine Gun Kelly, Youngblood. You're like, oh, it's so cool.
But where's that point where you stop being
you?
And like,
exactly.
The new music, people are like, yeah, this is cool, but you can't compare it to anyone. And that's when I said to Drake, I was like, I'm truly happy now. It's like, we've made it. Not made it in the scene of the music, but like in the sense of like
getting where we want to be, or
we've made a sound.
And it's taken a long time because we all come from very different musical backgrounds, even if we have like very similar interests in music. Like Luke said, he's a big pop guy.
Yeah,
I'm metalhead, anything complicated, all the way to classical kind of stuff. Josh hates anything remote.
D&B as well.
Well, D&B, that's a big influence as well. You can definitely hear that and stuff like Medicine.
Yeah, we're bringing that
kind of pendulum rock.
Yeah, I was just gonna say pendulum.
In a bit in the new music, but
I really like that.
I think
like
I am a pop kid, but I like the different subgenres of pop, not classic pop girl band, boy band.
And I think so much is blended over these days that you can kind of just go, well, I've got a metal song because it's X sound plus a bit of metal or riff technique, whatever. And then you go, now I'm going to add like hyperpop synth in it. And now it sounds like, I don't know, Bring Me the Horizon and stuff like that. And you can almost just these subtle changes in the composition area. You can make it sound like different genres, but keep the sound together as a whole.
Yeah.
I think that's what the industry is these days, is how much can you blend in together, because there's so much finite stuff that you can use now. You just got to, what can we do? Like County Lines is a great example. Medicine's another one. Like adding these rockier elements or these poppy elements with folk in County Lines, for instance.
taking a lot of what we do in all our music, to be fair, is we take very like minor, as you say, or quite dark, dystopian sounding music.
Yeah.
What you kind of feel inside.
And then kind of tell a story a lot of the time in the more thought-provoking songs. Or we do the opposite, where it's like a happy beat with really, really fucking depressing lyrics. So you think,
lyrics.
we're going to the club, and then it's like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
We're staying
have
home
fun
and drinking
the way, right?
excessive amounts and take our
The true rock and roll lifestyle.
Yeah.
Actual Tuesday.
Yeah.
toilets your dressing room and get fucked.
So you've sort of said that you didn't really you did come from a musical background, but you didn't start writing songs until a little bit later on.
Yeah.
So where did your sort of musical journey start then? So like, when did you a question aimed at both of you really. When did you first learn or discover that you were interested in music?
Ours are very different, I think.
Yeah. His is, you go quite technical with it.
Well, if it's from where I started from, it's like it's the first thing I've ever wanted to do. Like, I've had the most crystal clear image in my head since I was like 6.
Yeah.
Of almost like a silhouette of, we've got that epic rock star stance with got big wide legs. You just see like Download behind him.
Yeah.
And all those people. I've just had that crystal clear in my head. And it's, what stepping stones do I need to get to that? And I think this is the hardest industry to get into.
Well, anything creative, I'd have said, yeah, but yeah, from another musician to another, I completely get where you're coming from.
And it's like, you've got to not only care about what you're putting out, but you've got to care about your instrument enough to make it speak for you.
Yeah.
I think with Luke, it's been a way for him to, it's almost been his story, whereas for me, it's always been my voice, I think. And that's a good way of putting it.
That's a really good way to do it. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's a weird one. It's like, I don't know when it became music for me though. Really. Like when I was growing up, I was always very entertainment.
Yeah.
I was always like wanted to be like
Performer.
for circus and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I was doing magic and all that.
Were you in circus too?
I applied, yeah. I was doing circus skills and all that.
Dude, I was on fire circus.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know that.
I remember speaking about it.
Bunch of clowns in the studio.
And like, all I wanted to do was magic, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I became quite good at it. I did weddings and stuff.
No way.
And did the stand-up comedy and did the comedy clubs. And so I was on stage, but not for music.
Yeah.
And I've done 1 or 2, like, emo, rappy songs, like 14, 15, 16. I remember just winning the people with my favourite band. It was like the band that I saw so much. I saw them like 60 times or something. And I just begged him. I was like, can I support you? And I only had 2 songs. I was like, can I support you? And he was like, I really like what you're doing, man.
Yeah.
And ended up then going to Worthing, to his like mum and dad's house. And this like multi-award winning, like he's a number 1s, and I'm just like his mum and dad's house recording demos. And then he was like, yeah, man, we're taking the road. And I was like, probably the worst shows I've played. I had no band, it was just.
You've got to start somewhere. You
But yeah,
see photos of me when I was.
You do start somewhere, yeah. And like, I think that's when I got bit by the bug, because it was always stage, but this was like something else. And
I think that's a good way to put it for all of us. I think it's more about what you see on stage than it ever is what we put out, I think.
Yeah. Well, that's the place where you can actually like release what you've done.
Massive performance.
Yeah.
Like,
we're all performers at heart.
Some people don't understand that.
That's a good
like, genuinely, and that's going to be the polite way that I'm going to word it in this. Some people do not understand that. But we are performers in all backgrounds. It's like, when we are musicians and singers and all that, but like we're performers, and the whole industry of anything creative is a level of like performance deception. It's making an imagery that you want people to live in a world.
It's the rockstar mystique. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So I like yourself. We went to university, so you've probably covered a lot of this as well. It's like it's all about the mystique, the image.
Yeah,
but back in the day, you wouldn't even have to say it. Like, people like Iggy Pop.
Yeah.
And it was like, come on, that guy's not actually like that. It's a performance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Black Sabbath, Ozzy is the greatest example.
There's not many bands with that. Not even there's punk. There's not many bands with that punk attitude anymore. Like, just
it's. I mean, like,
fuck shit up, have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, you could really, you really could go down a bit of a rabbit hole on why there isn't any proper rock stars anymore.
One word, woke.
Well,
no, but you've got people like Tim Henson. You've got Tosin Abasi.
Yeah.
Yeah, but are they like
there's nothing like new.
The hotel rooms and stuff.
What I mean is, there's nothing new though doing it. Like the big names, they can order, but there's no one new.
Would you say that's kind of that trash?
He's not new.
He's a pretty chill dude. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
it's that aesthetic.
I mean, there's no one new on the scene that exciting coming up that is doing the attitude of I don't care. We're doing small venues, we might get cancelled. Fuck this, we're gonna do it. Like, that's what I love winning the people, man.
Yeah,
But us naked crowd, something like fuck you, like go on stage, light up a zoo. It's like it's just. we need more of it. I think it's like I said before. It's an imagery. It's giving people.
It's a show.
I said it the other week.
Yeah.
It gives people 5 minutes to escape from the world we're in. It's like I like the circus. You go there and you sit back for 2 hours and you're in this magical world. I think music's the exact same principle.
And I think you're right. Like especially if you look at anything, the sort of lower levels, not beginning of touring, a lot of people don't. It's a gig. It's a gig. They're not a show.
Yeah.
You want to sit there and you want to go like fucking wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
It's
like
what-
I can't wait to be. I either want to be that guy, date that guy, buy that guy a drink.
And
It's put something on that shows.
And it's the same I always say to people. Like, if you say that you don't like our music, that's fair enough. That's your opinion. You can't say we don't put on a show.
Yeah.
We do. The bands that just stand there. We definitely.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, I'd like whenever I go to gigs, if they do just stand there, it's like I could have been at home listening to this on CD. Do you know what I mean? By CD.
That's the mentality we have.
Yeah.
It's like
I say put your phones away, or you might as well be sat.
in the middle of a crisis.
Yeah.
People are going to spend money. Like you've got to think, what are they going to spend the money on you when you're just going to stand there?
Or you're lecturing me.
Or are they going to go, okay, I'm going to go buy a kebab? Or am I going to go see another band who I know are going to put on a show? You've got to be thinking, right, what would I do as a professional 10 years from now? Do it now. Do it right now. All the people at home, do it right now. Don't wait. That's the best piece of advice you're going to get. Completely lost my train of thought there. I was so passionate about that point there.
It's true though, to be fair, because I mean, you've got kids and stuff that are like 14, 15, 16 who want to be able to play the guitar or play the drums or the piano or sing or whatever it might be, and they might go, oh, I'd love to do that, but I don't know how, or I've not got the motivation, or I've not got this, not got that. It's like, well, just go and do it, man. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, you won't know until you start doing it. I'm sure you found that out yourself. You weren't massively bothered about writing songs until you caught the bug, and then all of a sudden that's all you want to do. Yeah. Exactly, exactly the same. Yeah. I mean, that's... So, like, I know that I'm bouncing around a little bit here, but going back to the EP, you said that it's not doing well with the numbers. Thing is, you can't get too hung up on the numbers, though, can you? Because like we were saying,
recently I've changed my mindset. It's very much just this music I know is the best music we've done yet.
Yeah.
So for me, it needs to be released, and that's the principle of like what I'm doing it for now, and not necessarily the numbers. But I think like this whole industry now is a thing where we'd lively say we don't look at it commercially. Sometimes it's very much like it's something that is so hard to make financial income on. It's like when you look at it from a job point of view, like if you were purely in it for a job, you wouldn't do it. You have to have the passion to be like, if I'm broke, I'm still going to do it because
I'm going to focus on this as if it is my job anyway.
The sad reality of it is
you doing someone else's world. Like,
definitely.
So
I mean,
the numbers didn't do as well, but then
and it's hard to look at something like that even when you're so like detached from it, like we are. Cause we do really try and detach from it, but it's hard to look at something and go, right, that did really well, and then that didn't. Especially as an academic, like you're gonna look at it and go, why?
It was a different genre as well to what we normally do. So we've always been like pop or pop punk, and that was very much like I said when I first started. I did like emo rap, so I wanted to put out an emo rap EP. Just to, I had loads of songs that, to be fair, don't really fit the band dynamic. Really, one of them does, The Darkness.
Yeah,
but the other four they're just, especially for like Drake said, it's a show, and they're very very slow songs, and we can't really pump them up and make them. They're sort of like stadium sound. I think just there's stronger songs. That's the honest. There's just stronger songs.
But
and every artist has better ones.
And we're just going to keep going though. That's the point. It's like if these ones are more melancholic, then who knows how we're going to feel in the future? Like maybe we do write a stadium song. That'd be cool. Like a bit like crowd interaction stuff. Maybe it's even more sad and depressing because we're all sad and depressed.
I know what you mean. I mean, it's one of them things, that we sort of touched on earlier. It doesn't matter about the numbers. Obviously, like, you're in a day and an age now where the numbers are so readily available to you. It's hard to not look at them.
Yeah.
But you have got to keep reminding yourself that this is something that you wanted to work on, something that you're passionate about. Put it out there, and if people like it, great, and if they don't, then they don't. Whatever. But I suppose it's dealing with that, isn't it? That it's that's the tricky bit.
Yeah. Some people see a bit of it as like competition. I think we have always, all three of us, because we're 2/3, but like all three of us have always seen it as sort of, we want to collab a lot with people. It's very much.
This is a collab in itself.
Yeah, exactly. It's very much want to collab with people that, and we've been bitten in the past for doing it actually. But it's like we have always tried to work with people that were the step that we were. So like it's like, example, like when we were not even selling 10 tickets, we'd want to be playing with a band like us. We try and give back to people in the same positions, and I think it's a really good way. It's like making good friends in the industry, but also the industry's tough now, man, because it's like everyone's just out for themselves and only looks out for themselves. So it's very hard to. Yeah,
it's so refreshing. It's so refreshing to hear artists say that, to effectively create a community, because I've been in situations loads of times where it's been like, we are the band, fuck everybody else. And it's like, it's horrible, isn't it? But like, and that, you know, when you're working in that, sometimes it's hard to be like, well, you know, come on. But that's the reality of it, unfortunately. But it's great to know that there is still artists out there trying to create a community.
We should be working together. We're in a time where it's like nobody gives a fuck about the record labels. Yeah, it's fantastic. we love it. We've been screwed over. We won't go into it for logistics and NDA and bullshit, but we've been screwed over by record labels, and we're in a time where you don't need one now. Yeah, and it's like,
it's more work. Don't get me wrong, but
it's more rewarding, and it's like, this is where artists should be collabing and working at their best. Like, there's no one taking that massive cut. There's no one doing that, and
that's like the most recommended thing to do for like young artists is collab as much as you can.
Yeah.
The marketing perspective, because of course you have to do that kind of stuff, and that's more my side, marketing and branding, to his beautiful business starts. You've got to think of, how can I create this community? You're going to look at it analytically. Sometimes you do. How am I going to create this community? Who do I want to work with? Do I want to work with people doing like this, or am I want to working with like musicians? Am I going to jam? Kind of try and find out what you like and just do as much as you physically can. Definitely. With as many people as possible. Like, some of the best like chances we've ever had as individuals and as a band is just by turning up to conventions. Like, for me personally, it was turning up to a convention, and you get endorsements, you meet people, you build this big family. It does turn into a family eventually, because you've got to have each other's backs, because otherwise, who does?
Cutthroat place, isn't it? Even when you're not signed to record labels, like, it can be crazy, can't it?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, like, I'm just sort of thinking back now, and people, like, you know, stabbing each other in the back to get just that one step, you know, above the bill. Like, you know, on a bill on a night out where there's like 5 bands, and people go, you know,
nobody cares about any of them. Really.
Don't play on a bill with 5 bands to start with. Like,
and they're all probably different genres. Their mates will come down, watch their set, and then leave.
Yeah.
Your brain only remembers the first and the last thing, so anything in between is just soup.
They probably won't even watch them.
Yeah,
the mates of that one band.
They're too drunk by that point. Covering all demographics.
We're quite picky with our gigs that we do at the moment.
Yeah, have to be.
Yeah. So how's that going then with gigs? Like, is it really?
Yeah,
because you've got
mate.
Literally, for so long we've had a lot of false promises in the past, different people, and it's very much like, for once, I think everything's coming together now. We're about to fly off to Dublin, and
I'm gonna say you've got the Dublin gig,
play a really prestige, like, alternative nightclub over there that we're more than grateful to be playing. Shows, and then we've literally got another headline tour in October.
The big one.
This is like our third headline tour as a band. 4th if you include solo, and it's like we sold out Birmingham 5 months ahead of time. It's wicked.
Amazing.
We just sold out Bristol as well. That's
gonna be wicked as well.
London's
we love Bristol. Bristol's great. Bristol's really good. Man.
Yeah, it's a very creative place, actually. Bristol, isn't it?
Yeah, we can't wait. It's like, I think it's a great tour for fans that are fans to come, because there's a bit of everything, and for people that aren't fans to come, because it's such a just mixture of everything over the last 4 years. Like, whenever we've done a tour in the past, it's been like we've been promoting a new album or whatever. Yeah. So normally we just play all the new ones, and people will be like, "Oh, there's a couple hits," but this is just such a variety.
Yeah.
So the best of the best.
I think this is probably the strongest set, as well as just in flow. Anyway, I I think it just keeps rising. You have a couple of moments.
You hear some new stuff that's coming.
Yeah, and then you have those somber moments, and then it just keeps rising up towards the end.
Yeah,
it's gonna be really fun. Really excited.
And some of the best venues that we've done headlines in as well. To be fair.
Sounds amazing. So because it's from memory, I think, is it 4, 5, 6 dates, or is it more?
5 dates.
5 dates.
Yeah.
Surely there's got to be more demand for that. There's got to be another 5 somewhere.
Well, we done one really long. Well, it's weird because basically we've done 4 tours. We did
a lot of them were self-funded.
Yeah, they've all been self-funded by.
So
really, so we did the Live in the Movie tour. That was just wicked.
That was so when we're talking about numbers, we're Live in the Movie. I think we just had everything like right moment of time with the right album, with the right kind of humor, with the right aesthetics, and like you look at the album.
182. That
yeah. You look at the album, you got like this pop art, Andy Warhol style.
Yeah, good numbers on the tour for people coming as well.
Yeah,
and it was like we had guitars back then as well. That we'll go into a bit, but like it was like
it was just a really full package.
Yeah.
And then I did a solo tour because we were kind of changing stuff, planning what we're doing now, really.
Yeah.
Solo tour, I think, was not the same, man. It really just wasn't the same.
Missing the band.
It was me and the DJ, so I got to do some more of like the emo trappy stuff that was unreleased, but it's exactly like you can't bounce off anyone.
Yeah.
It's just
can't try snogging me on stage.
Yeah, literally. So that tour finished, then we did the Damaged Youth EP that I think we loved that.
Oh, it's a great one. That's.
I feel like it's not a cock. It deserves better than it did.
Really. I think so.
Like it did well. Damaged Youth, the single, did really well, but like the EP, it's just 4.
Well, maybe
very pop punk songs.
You never know. Maybe if people demand it enough, we can do like a new release album where it's like full band, new sound, all the old tracks like a little bit higher tempo, a little bit more fast.
And I think
a little dancier, you know.
That tour was wicked, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a great tour. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, this is the newest one. That's the Messed Up Society tour that kind of carries on from the Damaged Youth. So it's like this isn't an album tour, so it's like we can play whatever we want.
Have fun.
So we're playing
stress.
All the pop punk stuff, all of the old stuff like Fuckboy and County Line, but then a couple new ones off the album just to kind of like tease it a bit. But
see what people think of it.
Yeah,
I think you should put more dates on. Simple as that. Put more dates on. Give the people what they want. More dates everywhere.
Everywhere. I mean, I'd like to do more Europe.
Yeah, well, that's what we're planning, isn't it? We've got some plans.
Europe with a Neuro DSP called Cortex. That's all I need in life.
We're gonna break Europe, and next year we've got some really exciting plans. We're not doing a headline tour, but we won't give too much. We're doing our own festival, so
we're
running a Smile Summer Smash Festival. Tickets got on sale in October, and it is literally 12 hours of live music with a 5-hour after party with DJs.
Amazing.
Multiple stages in Birmingham.
It's gonna be a good time.
Showcasing the best alternative music locally, but also big special guests coming all around the places.
When a ticket's available, we can put it on the.
It's going to be October, and the date's June the 7th next year.
Don't forget, write it down.
Stage industry. This guy used to work at festivals, so.
Oh, so he knows festivals then.
If it ain't going to be good, I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be there, so it's going to be good.
That sounds quality. So literally, I'm interested to know like how the formation of the band came about now. Because right, you're saying to me that you started writing songs in pubs, and now you're on about throwing your own festival. In the space of what?
2 years? 2 years?
2-3 years.
3 years.
Come on,
it's got to be just under
3. 3. No, it's 3 years now.
Time goes.
4 years probably.
What trauma does to you, I guess.
Yeah.
Talk me through. How
it started with me just like talking about topics of like violent. I don't really know how to talk about it, really, like violent gangs and stuff like that. Was a lot of like my teenage years being coerced into that. So I think a lot of the beginning songs will get me to write about that, and also trauma and lifestyle and back then. And you know me, I've changed so much.
Yeah, Luke, to his credit, has changed like night and day.
Really?
And that was
yeah.
But you can hear it in those songs.
I think we all have.
Those songs have that, innit? So that's how it started, and it was a solo project. I had a different drummer back then. It was just me and a drummer.
Yeah.
And sometimes me and a DJ. Then got to a point solo where it was doing pretty well, wasn't it? It was like 300 tickets, venues, and it was doing really well.
COVID happened.
COVID hit. That destroyed the whole music scene.
Yeah.
Unless you're one of these like platinum already selling artists, just destroyed the whole music scene. And straight after COVID, literally by like a couple months, an LA artist, I won't give her credit because no credit's due, but an LA artist came over.
Shades.
Luke can keep this private joke to himself.
So she came over and
she was meant to be doing a tour. So I was a COVID student, our drummer as well. So our drummer and I had gone to university together.
Right.
We were really, really tight. And I joined up a tour, freshly out of my undergrad, going, oh, look, how great is this? I'm going to do a tour.
She invited them because she came from LA, couldn't afford the LA band to come over, so hired like UK musicians.
Yeah.
And then I had a tour manager, and then everyone dropped out. Yep. So it was just me and her on the day that I joined. So we had a week just prior.
To learn now.
To find a team, find a driver, learn a set that we hadn't even met her yet. She wasn't practicing.
All of this for a tour that sold 0 tickets.
No, it did like moderately okay for someone's first attempt in the UK. Anyway, so we went through and we ended up having a real difficult moment for our drivers in his family, and we just had to.
I lost one.
We just had to go. You focus on your life, but this was halfway to Manchester, and what we meant to do.
Right.
Yeah. Her and him had made a connection. And this is not the greatest impression either.
So this is how I've changed. So back then, basically, I was in the UK, shop in London, and this LA artist is in the high street bragging about how she's an LA artist. So I looked up because I heard her next smile on this. Then 4 hours later, I'm in her hotel room. And then like, literally, she calls me up when this happens and they lose their tour driver and goes, she calls me Little Brother Lucas. She goes, Little Brother Lucas,
something's wrong with
can you sort me a tour man? And can you sort me a tour driver? And would you like to come and tour with me? And I was like, sure. So then like, I had to find a tour driver that she could not afford this tour driver because it was so last minute.
Yeah.
The only person available was like the highest up there.
And he was good. To give him credit,
he's charging like 1,500 a day. She was like, "Wow, I can't this," but she had to because no one else was available. So
we all got thrown in the deep end and got forced to be in a car together.
Yep.
Right.
And then, I was in that as well.
So the first impression wasn't great because she's a big party animal. You can tell Luke, once upon a time, was a bit of a party animal. It's me trying to keep my sobriety where it is. It wasn't great.
Yeah, so I was there just basically... I give them credit, they didn't flip out at me, to be honest. They were there like trying to like nail this set. And I understand how stressed they were now, because back then I didn't know, but when I found out that they only had a week to practice, I was understanding why they were trying to like listen to the tracks in the car and all that.
Didn't even know the
tunes. Now I am like popping Zans in the car, like So, but then it all came really good because it was like, I think the last night on the tour,
despite it being
all gone to shit.
The shows went well.
Yeah.
Because the drummer and I and the guitarist, we worked hard.
You held it together.
We had to hold it together.
Yeah.
So the shows went fine. She's a little bit haywire. So she was here, there, and everywhere.
Very unstable.
I think she's better to give her credit. Anyway, so by the end of it, it was the kind of final show.
It was like, oh, we can go.
Exactly, and kind of went, oh wait, we all live in Birmingham.
And he was like, will you ever?
If you ever need anything, I put us forward as a session group.
And I went, maybe. Then it was like a couple months later, wasn't it?
Shit.
Yeah. And I was working with a guitarist at the time. Won't give credit again. But like, that was so we were doing a few shows. We were actually on a university tour.
Right.
So we were playing universities. That is a really weird dynamic. You're playing to loads of people each day. You're doing 2 shows, and these are like probably 1,000 cap. All full of uni students. Some are there to have a good time, some do not that you're there. But anyway, you're playing the shows, and then afterwards, I was going to shoot a music video at the end of the week. Called up Dom and was like, do you want to just come and learn this one song? Like, play the bass. And he was like, yeah. And then Josh sort of tagged along, and in the end, that one song turned into like
a 10-song
mini set. Like in a recording, it wasn't even practice studio,
it was just practice studio.
And we invited a few of our friends to shot a music video. And then I was
really
like,
well, actually.
do you want to stay along? I've got a gig next month. And at my time, you were really keen. Josh was a bit like on the fence because he was in another band. He's like, I'm not sure if I want to do this.
The guitarist, who shall not be named, he was all on. He was like, yeah, let's do it.
It was his first opportunity in the music industry.
So we did it, and I had a friend up from home. So
and then we did the gig, and Josh got bitten by the bug, I think, a bit.
Yeah.
And we all just stuck at it, really.
And to give the one thing I will give the guitarist credit for is he had energy. And that's what lit the fuse under our ADHD.
Right.
And we just once we made that connection, it was just we just got in sync. It was fun, man.
Yeah, I think when he left and we parted ways, I think it took us a month just to reform.
It was difficult because it's like you lose.
We played a really bad game.
An element of what makes you entertaining.
What makes you click as well.
And yeah, exactly. So when you're on stage and you're looking at something, and there's one on each side doing the same thing, suddenly, like, it's just weird, and you're just out of step with each other.
Yeah.
Felt like starting again almost.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
And we're fine now. We're back on it.
This was only like
it's after living the movie tour, wasn't it? So it'd been March 2023.
So that was only like 5 months from when we joined.
Yeah.
So it sounds like everyone's sort of come from completely different like corners of the country almost.
Yeah.
Under like
the craziest of circumstances.
Yeah. That's I was going to say coincidental circumstances, but the way that you described it way better. That's a mad story of a band formation.
Yeah.
So where did the name Try2Smile come from then?
I love this.
There's two.
Oh,
there's two stories, or there's two Try2Smile?
There's the honest story, then there's the tale that
the real story,
because it makes it sound really cool. And what is our Spotify bio? So if I'll
let you decide which story to tell.
We'll just go with the made up story.
Keep the anonymity, you know.
Yeah.
The made up story that is half true but exaggerated was I was basically couch jumping. And back then,
that's a good way to put my childhood.
Maybe 60-40 on my side.
Keep that one to yourself, though.
But yeah, like I was definitely a problematic child. I'd run away and couch up and stuff. I remember my nan sent me a text. She went, "Luke, remember to try to smile." That's the meaning behind this.
So it's just like a reminder of sort of where you've come from, almost.
Also, I think it was just so like Little Pee-Pee back then. I was loving Little
cool,
Pee.
man.
Well, I went with it, but now it's just like. It's really tricky because we've done it solo and we're not really solo, but we're not really a band. It's like
three artists who kind of work together.
It's just this project, you know what I mean?
And
it's like the project name.
Yeah, which is why we've all that's why I very much adopt the stage name side of it. I think
I face front it a bit, I think. Yeah. Just being like the front man, but like it is all of us.
And we've all got our own thing in this, both from behind the scenes and the music element as well.
Yeah. So going back to the stage names then, so you go by Smiles, which I can understand because it sounds like it's from, like this whole thing's come from you and then it's grown.
Yeah.
And you go by Draco.
Right.
Is there a story behind that?
So, evidently I'm a blonde.
Right.
And when I more talk in my natural accent, it's a little bit more southern. Just a little bit more...
Putting on a voice this whole time? Who are you? You've not got a proper name. You've not got a proper accent. Who is this guy?
No, I just kind of adopt to whatever situation I'm in. And I've spent my second year at university. I lived with a roadman.
Right.
So that's complete opposite end of the dialect, pool as it were. And then I've spent almost 4 years in Birmingham now. So it's people look weird when you speak in this quite high, quite posh, quite eloquent, calm, smooth accent. So you just kind of lower it down a little bit. So when I was in college, I had blonde from the localized area of Salisbury, which is quite. This is known for the Malfoys in Harry Potter. So with the blonde hair and slicked back, I got the nickname.
A lot longer.
Yeah, well, at this point it was actually about like this. I got the nickname Draco, and it just kind of stuck.
From there.
Yeah, I don't like my real name particularly. Okay. It's very like.
No, it's not, is it?
Oh, okay. Let me say it in my accent.
Okay.
Dominic.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit like.
Telephone.
What, Dominic? No, I'm not going to like DDoS myself or dox myself.
Dominic's not a posh name, is it?
I think it's how you say it in the South.
Right.
Dominic.
Yeah, if you just say like Dominic.
Dominic.
You're like barely saying the M.
Big
you're like Dom. Yeah, Big Dom. You're still, it's Big Dominic.
Big deal.
The big deal on the beat.
Then you got Josh at Z. That has no real story to it.
Well, it's just a class name.
We just know many Joshes.
So he's just gone for like the last letter in the alphabet and gone, that'll do.
His last name's
Zadie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
that makes a bit more
Z.
sense. Yeah.
It's very like
Big up the spoons.
like Motley Crue thing. That's a good influence on us.
Spoons,
Oh yeah, big up spoons. Sweet. That's a good influence. Bit of a random left field one for like live and stage and stuff. Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Especially for you.
Yeah, especially for me. But it's that party, the energy. Let's have fun, even if quite shy and tiring in our own lives. But it's all that energy, the excess, the 80s mixed with a bit of the punk, because we are nothing but what came before us, right?
Yeah,
just mashed up all together.
Yeah, that's quite a nice segue into what the next thing that I wanted to talk about is influences. So obviously in your music, for Try2Smile, there's a lot of stuff going on in there. Each track, each sort of section of each track sort of goes a little bit like this for sort of genres.
Genre of bending.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm really interested to know where influences lie between you both, or individually, should I say.
Do you want to start at the beginning and then where they've evolved into how they affect the music?
Yeah, I think it was when I first started music, 15, 16, I probably like SoundCloud rap influences. So Little Peep, X, just classic Trio, Juice.
Yeah.
That's weird because I really don't like that.
but you know what?
Different
like
time in life.
When I first, like, the first album I ever bought, I'm pretty sure was McFly's first album. And I sort of think to myself, that's not what I listen to at all. But if that album came on, I'd be like, this is such a good album. Yeah.
The exact same. And then I've always loved reggae as well. That's weird. And folk music, like Irish folk, even though
James Blunt's a big one for both of us.
Pleasure,
It's not even guilty. Don't say that. Be honest to the Blunt.
I've seen him so many times. But so just weird music. But then I think like recently, and especially in the last few years, Will and the People, massive influence. I've only worked with them, they're massive influence. Quite just like weird sounds, man. Like it's not necessarily an artist. I prefer songs by different artists. I won't normally, maybe it's an ADHD thing, but I won't normally listen to whole albums. I try to. Sometimes they tell a story. But
I'm the same as well. A lot of people our age, I think, as well, because it's so easy access to a bit of everything.
You can just have like one hit song now.
Yeah. Just go playlist.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think's killed the album? It's Shuffle.
Yes, completely.
Shuffle's killed the album, hasn't it? It's kind of like, for people to sit and listen to 8 songs in a row, 8-track albums, you can't do it. People can't do it because you go, not interested in this style of music now. Shuffle, something else comes on.
Just
Do you know
think
what I mean?
what all of technology and social media and life is. It's quick, instant gratification. Yeah,
100%.
Tinder is
instant gratification.
Mate, Tinder's our fucking hotel accommodation on Tinder. Swipe.
I wasn't on Tinder for less than a
Tinder
straight.
No. Big up the Premier and our hotel chains are available.
Yeah. No hotels sometimes if we are bougie.
Feeling bougie. What about your influence then, Draco? Come on.
So I'm a legacy artist, or what I would call a legacy artist, meaning that a parent did music. So my cool story is my mother was in a heavy metal band when she was pregnant with me.
No way, that is cool.
There's photos of her like very pregnant with a fetus drawn on it.
What? Yeah. No way.
Shout out to Suicide Angel and Reign of Erebus. Probably never can see this. So it's always been quite a big part of my life. My dad was a goth. My mum's a metalhead. My sister's the weird one out by listening to like hip hop and stuff. So she's a black sheep.
Yeah.
So I've always had it around me. I very early kind of figured out what I wanted to do. I'm very, very young. Then I saw School of Rock. School of Rock was like, dude, teach me the G note because I'm a bass player.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing you can learn for School of Rock as a bass player. Got into music more. It was always around me, especially like old school, big guitar heroes. And so I sort of got into music when I was sort of 10, 11, started playing bass, and I just kind of picked it up and had a really good time with it.
Yeah.
And I just went guitar heroes. Who were the cool guitar heroes who did the cool stuff on shredding, or if it was sometimes violin, which I like classical. Whoever did the coolest techniques, how do I do that?
Yeah.
And then it didn't really occur to me until I kind of met other musicians that trying to shred on bass is typically frowned upon.
It's not really done, is it?
No, it's just not done. I wrote my diss on it, don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
it's people don't like it. It's where it's come from. on history anyway. So I was just like, no, I want to do this. It's cool. Cliff Burton was cool. He was like the only bass player I liked as a kid. Steve Harris too. So it was stuff that was very melodic. I think that was the thing that caught me, the melody. Because I'd always be like soloing at home, doing weird techniques with my thumb, finger player, weird tapping stuff or sweeping stuff, and because it was a good way to talk.
Yeah.
And then it was just learning more vocabulary. You said you music theory.
Yeah. I studied sort of music theory for a while. I studied, so I had proper guitar lessons for a bit, and then the same guitar teacher taught me, because I said I wanted to learn more music theory, so he taught me how to play classical guitar.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Nylon strings and stuff, which was great. And then I was like, do you know what?
Big influence that is with the way I play as well.
Yeah, with the fingers and stuff. And then I was like, don't want to do this anymore. I want to learn how to play the blues. So that because that's how I. So my music thing. So my dad is very much into like his biggest like favorite band, Black Sabbath, 100%.
Sabbath.
And then he's got like Deep Purple albums knocking about, and it was like listening to Deep Purple's album.
Iron Butterfly as well. They're a good band.
Yeah, and like Rush, I absolutely love Rush. Rush are an unreal band,
especially for bass as well. Playing that, stuff is
well,
awesome.
I was going to say to you actually, have you ever listened to Mr. Big?
Yes, Billy Sheehan. So I
He's up your
discovered
street.
Billy Sheehan very recently, almost to my shame, because my thing is almost like Billy Sheehan, but he's a modern bassist.
Yeah,
it's not like the 80s traditional style. We've got all the techniques and the guides and everything, so you can kind of figure it all out, like pinch harmonics. It was like a big
same
thing.
Reaction as like a big guitarist. He wants to make the guitars cool as the bass for is cool
as guitar. That's like my single focus.
But you know what? It is cool as the guitar.
100%.
It's not as cool. It's cooler.
It's just not got a light on it, because it's the typical stereotypical bass.
It's a support instrument.
It's one of those instruments where I think musicians appreciate how good it is.
Yeah,
you know
it's why everyone
it's one thing to sit in the pocket, but it's another thing, especially when people are tuning lower, to go opposite end and sort of do the melody line. Not like a bass player would play it like a piano. There's kind of like where it sits, or like a guitar line.
The thing with you as well, I think, is like a lot of people, they even miss the credit of the skills that you're playing. I think they just see him as a bassist that actually
doesn't perform.
You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
There's not really bassists that perform. There are a few, but not anyone like, once again, upcoming. They stand at the back and do the stereotype.
It's not like I don't sit in my room.
This guy walks out into the audience, will steal your cigarette off you while he's playing. Oh my God.
Doing tapping while I do it.
Yeah, literally. People just like pinch it like that.
But like, sorry to interrupt you, but you know, like you're saying about your mum and your dad and your sister. Your sister's the odd one out because she listens to hip hop. I'm sure you could appreciate hip hop for its bass lines.
Dude,
do you know what I mean? Like you're going and you're like, been listening to Master of Puppets all day, and Cliff Burton's amazing, but then you're like, hang on a second.
I'm a big prog fan now, and prog has a lot of influence from like your funk. Prog is technical metal plus another genre typically. So you look at like Tosin Abasi, all of his like funk, all of his weird like thumb stuff. It's all funk bass techniques. So it's the same idea, but flipped the other way. Instead of going, oh, look at these cool techniques on guitar or violin, whatever, and go, how do I do that?
Yeah.
He's going, oh, look at that cool bass technique, to get kind of thing, and doing it on guitar.
Yeah, for sure. Another good one, sort of coming away from metal basis, is Thundercat. Thundercat?
Oh, that's what I wrote my diss to.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, that Dragon Ball Durag, man, that got me through the final couple of hours of my diss.
Yeah.
I just listened to it on repeat, just going, I feel kind of fly.
So like his, you watch the Tiny Desk concert.
Oh yeah,
his but with Mac Miller.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen that?
Great one.
He not that like they're all amazing on that Tiny Desk, but he stands out and he plays the bass. Do you know what I mean? It's amazing stuff.
And I think, but maybe that's difference in genre as well. It's like when you go to something that guitar isn't a support instrument, jazz-ish, but like funk definitely. Like you can really stand out. You have that moment because it's built into the genre. Whereas, like I said, I love classical, I love playing jazz, I love playing a little bit of funk when I can. Like when you do stuff like that, they're like, yeah, cool bass player, and then you play anything else, and they're just like, shouldn't you just play guitar?
Yeah, I always used to take the mick out of my bass player friends if they ever had 5-string bass guitars or 6-string bass guitars.
I'm being wounded here.
Yeah.
I've said it on a another episode of the podcast, I was talking to a very good friend of mine who's been a bass player for 40 years or whatever, and he's played in prog bands, and he's unreal. He put us onto Mr. Big.
Yeah.
And he put us onto Mr. Big years ago because I've known him for a long time. And I've repressed it because I was like, these people are too good. I can't listen to them because they're that good. And I was saying to him, I was like, and you're going to hate me for saying this. I'm like, bass players are just failed guitarists, man, aren't they? I mean, I'm like,
you guys heard that, right?
But no, it's something that people say to wind people up in it.
YouTube box.
I'm just gonna shift slightly out of frame now.
Let me take my rings off a second.
No, absolutely not. Like bass players don't get the recognition that they deserve, and when they do, it's like, yeah, man, they should get recognition all the time. You know what I mean? Like,
I think a lot of people are quite content being just that sort of supporting element, and the real aim is doing both. Yeah. And if you can, doing like a piano, low end over here, and like all the sparkly, cool melodic stuff up that. Yeah. That's when you're really cool. You can do it like that, like Charles Boothand. That's probably the wrong way to say his name, but he's a really cool bass guitarist. Check him out, guys.
Yeah, but even like you sort of go back to old school R&B, rhythm and bass, not rhythm and blues. Do you know what I mean? It's just having the drummer and the bass player playing together. Sit and watch them all day. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, it is amazing. It's so underrated.
It's diverse. It's versatile. That's the word.
Versatile, definitely.
It can be everything from getting that thumpy low end feel that you feel just grooving to like super melodic. And with the way technology is these days, you can. And this was always my dream to super high gain, like, you know, you get the pinch harmonics. You see like Joe Satriani using a lot of these lead guitarists and metal bands and stuff. Really getting into it. Like, now we're in this kind of age that you can do that.
You can make anything sound anything.
Yeah, and then you just hit another switch and then boom, I'm an 808 bass.
It's incredible.
And that's what we do for us. It's like sometimes I'm a bass guitarist.
Sometimes you're in the guitar.
Sometimes I'm synth. Sometimes I'm playing more lead parts. Sometimes I'm doing tappy parts. Whatever's fun, to be honest.
Yeah. So I suppose that sort of brings me back to the EP and all the rewrites. You know, you said about the 28 songs in a day kind of thing, and then you've obviously picked 4 or 5 songs that are like, these are the best of those 28. How many times did you rewrite all those songs with all the different sounds and stuff that you can make a bass guitar, a synth, a drum kit, your vocals, anything? How did you decide on those sounds?
To be honest, I think Luke rolled it all on himself.
Yeah.
This is, for the first time, very minimal need for us to jump in and go, this is what we would like to do.
The production is all on me so far. So I've been the one, not necessarily the producer, but I've been the one that's led all the production, work producers, and then I bring them the song afterwards, and then they've learned to take it in their own aspects. The new music is a bit more, these guys involved. We're recording a lot more light, because a lot like Drake said, everything can be done on a laptop now.
Yeah.
Like your drums, everything. This EP/album, what we're making at the moment, behind closed doors, first time that we've gone back to the roots of just using live instruments in the studio. It's so nice again. I forgot about it for so long and was like, nah.
It's weird that, isn't it?
Because don't get me wrong, like, you can make stuff sound cleaner sometimes by doing it on a computer. Like, you can, and then I think I got a bit obsessed with that. I wanted everything to be as clean and polished and
overproduced. It's a very fine line.
Every show can sound the same, everything's commercial. But then the minute we went back to doing it, the new record, it was like, these sounds, man, it just doesn't. It's just, the whole thing is nothing as good as it is live. And it's like, if you can get it to as close as that in the record, great.
Yeah.
And live instruments do that. Like, it's just.
It's like if you're trying to do, I don't know, like a cool like lead line that you do on a guitar, but on a piano, you still have to have as technical person on the piano to do all the bends and stuff correctly. So you may as well just jump head first in and have fun, and just kind of see where it leads you.
We do quite a lot of like rewriting songs and such, but production-wise, we do just have a lot of fun with it. Really, I think it's just.
What can we throw in? What can we do? What can
throw
we add?
everything at the wall and see what works? Like, we've never ever taken ourselves seriously, really. Like, that is a good thing and a bad thing, but like we've always been professional, always made business a priority, but like we've always had a laugh with it and been a bit silly.
Yeah, completely.
I suppose as well, because some of the songs can be quite personal. I mean, I'd imagine that you'd want the live instrument aspect of it, because you can put stuff into the laptop and it sound, and the computer will play it back perfect, but there's zero feel. Do you know what I mean? And that's probably what you want.
You're telling me
From you want these personal songs to get your message out, but a robot's playing the music.
Yeah, I think it's all melodies. The best feeling is like after a show when people want to merch us, and we've had people want to merch us, like, this song saved my life, or this song
really
surreal.
Wow.
Very surreal.
Yeah,
feeling.
it was after London show. We had 2 girls come over, and she was explaining about the way that she had sadly tried to end her life. She was saying how she really related to it. I think it's something
It was my therapist.
My therapist, yeah. And it's like stuff like that. It's like
very
you
surreal.
can't put a price on it. It's like a very sort of like why you get into music. You're right, your feelings. If someone else relates to it, even just one person, it's a cool feeling. I think
it's something like, I think everyone wants to make a difference, even if it's just a one person. I think when it's kind of staring you in the face, you don't really take it like that. You just go,
yeah, it feels like the pain or trauma or whatever the song is about. You
can really empathize as
whatever,
well.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's a big point as well. Empathy. You just get it. Like, it's almost taking you back to that moment for yourself, and just give them a hug and go, I'm sorry.
And like I think Try2Smile, there's both sides. Like you can come to a Try2Smile gig and you can just have silly time and fun time, or you can really get into it. And there's moments of really happy songs and moments of quite sad, or actually considering how silly some of our songs are. Some of them are ridiculously thought-provoking when you actually think about it. So like
I can imagine like sort of that event where that person's come up to you and said your songs had such an effect on my life that it actually saved it. I bet that was such a, I don't even know how I'd describe that, to be honest. Like because like I say, these songs are really personal. They've come from a place where some bad things might have happened, and you've managed to get it on paper, which is a massive achievement in itself. But to actually put it out there and for it to affect somebody in the way that you might have been feeling while you were writing it, that connection with a complete stranger, I can imagine that must have been electric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
You don't quite know how to feel at first.
Yeah, because you're just putting your song out.
Yeah.
You're just getting your feelings out and you're putting it out there.
We have such a loyal fan base, though, to be fair.
Yeah, they're the coolest people.
And like, I feel like we're still small, man. We're still upcoming, and it's like it's nice because we've got a loyal fan base and the people that join it. There's some people that come and go. There's some that will come and then we'll just go. Then we have some people that will literally just stick by us for it all. But then there's also like I feel like Try2Smile, like I said, it's a project. It's so diverse and changes that some people become a fan. They'll go for 6 months, then we'll see them again, and they'll come back,
and there'll be something completely different, and they'll be like, "Whoa, this is awesome!"
Exactly, it's almost like a safety net. It's like people just come out and they know that they will have a good time out.
And it'll be something that they'll be comfortable, be calm. Like even if it's like hyper energy, nothing will be going on because
really like safe.
Yeah, none of us really have any time for drama, particularly.
No, it's like a good night out.
Yeah,
like
something that you would want to go to yourself.
Yeah. I'd go if I wasn't in the band.
Yeah. So would I.
Yeah.
So would you say that like your songs that you write in, sort of when you first started, maybe like, or even maybe sort of this time last year, because like I know I keep saying it that the songs are personal, but do you feel like you as a person in terms of your songwriting ability has changed? Like you've sort of moved from one period of your life to the next period of your life, and you're writing about completely different.
That's everything. That's literally everything. I feel like
that's progression, isn't it? Just like in yourself, but in your music and your fan base, it just reflects on everything.
I think before it was me trying to be a rock star, and now it's me as an artist. I think that's the big difference. It's very much like beforehand, it was I want to be a rock star, as wasted as possible.
Yeah,
gorgeous girls, typical rock star, what it's made out of.
Rock star.
Yeah, rock star. And then like now it's very more about I want it to, be the image, the world we're creating, the project we're creating.
Be a commentary on what's around us.
Yeah, and just like you said, Mark was very personal. Songs are better written, more time's taken with it. Just maturity, massively.
Yeah,
massively.
And I think all of us have our own reasons to be doing this. We all have like a collective reason.
Yeah.
I think all individually we have reasons. It's like, and it's, I don't know if anyone's seen One Piece, but it's the whole reason.
We're all adults now as well.
Yeah, exactly.
What I mean?
That's the other big thing. It's like we're all more mature. It's like we're all working together have our own reasons to be doing this. We're all working at the same goal.
And also, we're not just four lads having a punter now. We're national tour and stuff. So it's like
weird to think that's another weird electric one.
Yeah,
it never sits right in your head when people are like the definition of what you do, and you're like,
especially like small town kids as well.
Yeah,
what the hell?
It's crazy. Like for my mum's still like when are the paychecks gonna come? Like, one day we are a national tour and we're getting there, and it's like
the first time my friends from home saw us at one of our Bristol shows, they were like, "You have people coming up to ask for signatures?" And I was like, "I don't know."
It's kind of like not a cocky, but it's kind of got a bit normal, at least for me.
I don't think it'll ever get normal for me. I love it. I love meeting new people.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, I'll reword it. I never take it for granted. Like, even when I'm in like my worst, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I was like, this is way better than office job. Really lucky to do this. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, I think it has normalized a little bit now. I feel. I just like I'm used to it. I like it. Comfortable.
I think that's a good way of putting it. It definitely. Like the first couple of times, because it happened quite early for us.
I was like, "Can you sign this? Can you sign this?"
And we were stood there like, "Excuse me."
And like, it's like that. It's so nice that fans support us in that way. It's a massive way that we make money as well.
It means
touring, you make a loss. People are like, surely that's the only way that you make money now. Streaming. Touring makes nothing. It makes a loss because we do it ourselves. We don't go with agencies because we make a loss for them anyways. I self-fund it all, and then we take a gamble. It is a gamble, essentially.
Every single time.
If they sell no tickets, we make a massive loss. If they sell out, we basically break even, and then the merch carries us. And it is the whole thing of like, if we didn't love doing it, we wouldn't do it. Yeah.
But it's great to have that passion to be able to like, because like I found it where you'd have a massive rejection. So like you'd sort of worked your way up to a point where you sort of felt like, I'm comfortable now, and I'm only talking from my experience.
No,
and then the carpet gets
after living the movie tour. We had, once again, won't name names
or what
really,
or what
really incredible people though. Like they are great and all that. We got offered quite a big deal.
We've had a lot of big gigs that it's like the stuff you look at as kids. You'd go, whoa.
Big festival tours, one of the biggest record labels in Europe. Big booking agent as well that we met up with last year.
It's
weird. It just like it does get to a point without going too depressed. It does get to a point where I've questioned quitting and stuff because it's like these are the big people in the industry and
they're not liking what we're doing.
They manipulate you so much, and they trick you and they lie to you and. It gets to a point where
it's smoke and mirrors as well. It's like they have a team that they're having a discussion about you, most likely. Not in all cases, but they have a team of people that are having a discussion, and they've made that decision without even like having a conversation with you.
And
you're like, why did I get excited for this? Like,
you meant to. Record labels are seen as the thing that will take away your freedom, but they give you your financial freedom because they fund everything, but they own you essentially.
Yeah.
They don't just give you financial freedom. My biggest bit of advice without naming and shaming anyone is don't sign a record deal. And if you do, words are cheap. Like words lie, paper doesn't. Read what's on the paper. They can promise you this.
Sign up to the unions. Sign up to the unions.
It will, and they will. At the minute that record deal finishes, they will make sure that it's the hardest for you to continue music as physically possible, and they will make it as difficult for you to release music, tour. And if you can still get through all of that, they'll then try and make it impossible by still trying to get money when they don't even own you. That's what they did with myself.
There's a really good documentary from 30 Seconds to Mars about exactly this, saying like you need to read your contracts because if you're put into like a 3, 4, 5 album deal,
it's a mortgage.
It is a mortgage, yeah.
It's artist repay, so they give you, let's say, 100 grand metaphorically. And they say, this is in advance, make an album.
Yeah.
But it's artist repay of 50. So let's say it was a 50%, you'd be paying 200 grand back to the record. So let's say you sign a 70-30 contract. You have to pay back 200 grand before you see any of the earnings that the record labels made you.
Yeah.
So let's say you did have a hit album, yeah?
But you were broke. Just slightly off.
But you were broke. If you don't pay that 200 grand back within a year, and let's say the album's made £25 million, the record label will pocket all of that. You will see not one penny of that.
Yeah.
And if you don't do well and they drop you, even though it's a 1-year deal, you're probably in lease to them for 6 years. That means then they own you. So then they can say if they want, you're not releasing any music for 5 years.
Yeah.
Unless you pay this amount of money, about 150 grand or whatever.
It's crazy.
It's a
how
rich
you
man's
find
sport.
that money. Yeah.
With a lot of this
And if
stuff.
you agree to pay that, then you can't pay it, they will just sue you. So it is like, yeah.
I think what
Trust
makes
fund
it
kid.
so what makes it so lucrative, especially for the big three majors, is that they've got contracts with all the distribution people that opens doors for other people, because you can put it on Spotify or whatever.
Register to PRS, because if you don't, they're taking it anyway.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
Yeah. It's crazy. It is crazy.
And lots of people get a distribute, they release it, and they think, oh, I'll get my royalties. And you get nothing. You get like 50p or whatever, for like, I don't know, 10,000 streams or whatever. And then they're like, where's all my lost royalties? There are royalties out there, not a lot, but there are royalties out there. If you're not registered to PRS,
You're not seeing them.
You're not seeing them, because the record label will just take your royalties, even if you're not signed to them.
Yeah.
Like, it just goes into a pot, and then all the record labels take that and they fund the artists that they've signed.
Crazy. It is a mortgage. It is a bank. At the end of the day, banks do that, don't they? They take your money and give it to you.
Yeah.
Give it to them, and then
I remember we were in the car riding back from this one proposal, and it had been sold to us like the American dream, hadn't it? And it was like what anyone would dream of, mate, as being a wannabe rock star. And we were in the car, and we were we were treated to everything this posh look straight out, and then we're in the car home, and you were being skeptical, and that was so good. Me and Josh were really excited at the deal, and in the end, we also were not signed.
Nothing changes.
You didn't sign it?
We kind of did. We signed a counter offer of the proposal. In all due respect, none of the promises were kept. So it kind of just fizzled away. The thing is, if we had broke a promise in that, we'd have probably got sued.
Yeah, we would have.
Even though they broke every promise on it, all that happens is fizzled away, and we lost 8 months of our life where we were so bigging up these opportunities.
So
excited. Then nothing happened. So now we're a bit more hush about it. We know stuff's coming, but we're not going to talk out about it as much.
Yeah.
We're just so skeptical.
Yeah,
of the industry.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Like all the time. You also get skeptical of working with people as well, because musicians they have all these a lot of words, not enough action. So you definitely lean into that stoicist thing of actions, not words.
Yeah.
Everything you see in front is just a mask that someone's putting on the situation. Yeah. Let's see what they do. If they do something, they come and get involved, they talk, whatever, and you kind of know where people's intentions are a lot more.
Crazy industry, innit? But you seem to be putting every foot right at the moment. You've obviously walked through these doors and gone, oh well, you've actually been sold the dream, and gone, no thanks, because you've had the clarity to be like, that's not right.
We don't. Well, I'll speak for myself. I don't know about them, but personally, at this point in my time, I don't want a record deal. I don't want that. I'm very happy doing it myself.
However, I think I'm probably on the opposite end of the spectrum. I think it would be good having.
There's one record deal I think would sign.
Yes, yeah. I completely agree with that. But for me, it's a lot. We're a bunch of young adults, you know what I mean? We're running a business that against giants constantly. So keeping the music bit that we all passionately love and care about, like this does have to be a business at some point.
Of course.
And we are all specialised in different areas, but as I say, we're fighting against giants, so it's difficult to know which way is up
people
sometimes.
That don't want us to do well as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if people see you do any level of well, and it's not a lot because we're not doing anything crazy really, but people aren't happy.
I think everyone's levels are different, aren't it? Like any small band would die to do what we're doing.
Then again, I compare it to like Metallica. Which, you see what I mean?
Quite far.
Yeah. One of the biggest metal bands ever.
Justin Bieber was.
I'm already living stage one of the dream, because for me it was touring, so we've achieved that. And touring is still my dream. It's just growing it realistically and setting realistic goals. Because Jake will remember this. Well, back in the day, we were setting up. Well, let's say we sold out at 150 in Birmingham, 150 people. That's good, man. And I'd come off stage and be like, "That's a great gig." I was like, "Yeah, it's great." And I'd be like, "But next time it has to be 300." It was always. What's bigger? How can we go? Now it's just a cost of living crisis. It's fucking great we sold 150 tickets. It's great that people still want to come out and support us. We should give them the best show and be grateful that they're here. Not let's make it bigger on to the next thing.
And I think when it comes to making it bigger, it's a lot more internalized as well. It's less of how do we get to that next level.
My ADHD, I'm wearing the most rattly hat.
Yeah, I know. That's all I've heard in my life.
It's gonna make it great for me to edit that.
Noise gate way up.
Yeah.
Just don't hit Luke. Derailed me there.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That's all right because I'm gonna move us on to the next thing, which I like to talk to everybody about their albums, and I've messaged you about this before because like I said to everybody, it's a very hard question to answer on the spot, so I like to give people a bit of time. So your top 3 album. Well, to be fair, it don't have to be top 3, but a maximum of 3.
Okay.
So go on, Luke. What's yours?
3 very different choices for me. I think an album called X Forever by Kid Bunswick.
Okay.
It's a new metal album. Like got some like Bring Me the Horizon sound. It's got auto tune. It's like very emo. It's just very like sad boy underground. Really love it, gritty.
Yeah.
Then Past the Point of No Return by Will and People. It's just like a cinematic album.
I'm definitely gonna have to check these
You
out.
should.
Will and the People. Yeah. You mentioned them a few times.
Cinematic. There's just attitude in the album. We love it. And then the third one's a guilty pleasure. Afterglow by James Blunt. It's got that. What's his song? It's like there's a lyric in it that's like goes. Would have said you're beautiful, but I've used that line before. I really like that.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
I love asking people that question because selfishly it gives me new music to go and listen to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, come on, Draco, yours.
Oh, hard one. So one of the first albums I ever bought was Seventh Son of the Seventh Son by Iron Maiden.
Okay, yeah.
That's definitely an album you have
Classic.
to listen through all the way. So when I was younger, I used to die hard listen to that before I go to sleep. That's what set me off. I think I've got to add some of my more technical, shreddier side of stuff. So I've definitely got a thing like maybe something like Symphony X, like the Odyssey. That's a really good one. That's telling the story from Homer's Odyssey.
Yeah.
Which is an amazing book, of course. Read the book. Third one. Oh, I don't know. Could I just do like a song?
You could do a song, yeah.
Do I like jungle or drum and bass? I don't know who created it. It's a remix I just remember from when I was younger, and it is the dirtiest drum and bass jungle song I've ever heard. And I know that's like 2 ends of the spectrum. And then, but that's like, oh.
We gotta give Josh his Josh's favourite song is Hentai. Hentai Girl by who's it by?
I have no idea.
It's a hentai girl in a hentai. No, wait, which one's Hentai Girl? It's like a no. It's I want a hentai girl for me. Make me happy. I want it so I can.
No, stop.
And that's for Josh, guys. Because we said we'll perform it live, and we've never done it, so we performed it live on the podcast.
There we go. You're welcome.
Oh no, that's quality. Yeah, some great picks. Like I say, I don't know all of them. That Iron Maiden album though, I know which one that is, and that is quality. Yeah. I mean,
there's some prestige songs there. Hentai Girl.
Dare I check it out?
No,
Dare I look at it? No, don't. There is a no going back from it.
Just imagine like 14-year-old teenage boy humor.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe not then.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll give it a miss. Or maybe I'll wait until I come down to one of your shows and you play it live for me.
Oh, we could do that.
And check out Try2Smile James Blunt. One of them's
Yeah.
Try2Smile.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, everyone definitely check out the EP because it is quality. To be fair, like it's so like I really like how sort of versatile it is from one song to the next. It's not quite like a concept album in the sense that all the sounds are the same.
HGP.
That's
one
what
is it? The new one.
Yeah, the latest one. Yeah, I really like it. It's just
That's
it's
good.
just,
Somebody does.
all them streams. It's just me.
I'll just start repeating. Nice.
Yeah. I just like how
I do like Maybe and Buffalo.
Remember I'll give you a
dance.
raise later. Don't worry.
No, yeah, I'm gonna say you
We
give
know
me
the
that
dance,
tenner in a minute.
the dance.
Yeah. No, I'm not just saying I like it for the sake of liking it. Like, I genuinely listen to it and I genuinely, really like it. So, and what I'm saying is I like how you go from one song to the next and like the sounds are completely different to one before it and the one after it.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that it sort of keeps you on your toes musically. Or like, like the soundscape of it is really like, a musical journey. I really like that.
A lot of thought and no thought at all was put into it. So thank you.
But you know what? That's where the best art comes from. Is where like people people have just sort of gone, do you know what? This is the first thing that's coming to my head. There you go. It's raw. Do you know what I mean? And people love it. Obviously, they come to the shows, they stream it.
Yeah.
You know, speaks for itself. So yeah, amazing. Everyone go and stream it because it's quality, and get down to the shows.
Available on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Music,
OnlyFans.
No, that's quality. Try2Smile. Thanks for coming to the podcast. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for making a trip over. It's been great. Thank you very much.